taking that picture from San Martino, the key on the right of the picture, and to the left, Salir de Porto there. Now, there's an incredible, as I discovered yesterday, there's an incredible dinosaur heritage and burgeoning, growing collection of discoveries here in Portugal. Quite understated, as Portugal is with many things, especially dinosaur discoveries. Lourinhã is the capital of dinosaur action here in Portugal. There's a dino park. There's a great museum in the town. And as you drive around Lourinhã, you'll see lots of references to dinosaurs. And it's part of a big geopark we discovered yesterday when we went for a walk. And this was the backdrop. Look at this. That's Ines from the geopark, a master's student in dinosaurs and paleontology, and she gave us a lovely little talk. This was a spin-off activity from our men's shed here. One of the great things to come from the men's shed, including the weekly pétanque gathering now. We play boule pétanque on a Wednesday evening for the summer, for the foreseeable, with the men's shed. And Flynn, who's in that picture somewhere, organised this. He's a volunteer up there on the cliffs. There's also a plaque, actually, for a shipwreck that happened, I think, in the 40s, just off that just underneath those cliffs there. A great big ferry. It was an HMS of some kind, Her Majesty's British vessel, that after the war was being towed to the European continent. Continental Europe, to become a ferry, I believe, and it ran aground here and was destroyed, and then later salvaged on this coast. So an ocean-going dinosaur for sure, and also dinosaur footprints. And this is Flynn organised this and asked Ines and the team if we could go up there. A bunch of us, we set off up there before the intense sun of yesterday, and you can see it's getting warm. But what a lovely backdrop, right, for the lecture, for the talk. Oh, hold on, no, I don't want to peak too early with that. And when we first got up there, let me play a little bit of video actually of Ines talking to us up there.
Some of them are already studied, and others are not.
It's a little bit low, the volume, but you get a sense of what's happening here.
This is a small country, but with a lot of dinosaur footprints and also, of course, dinosaur bones. You probably know about Lourinhã, or perhaps
so she's talking about Lourinhã there.
Where the cliffs, in the coastal cliffs.
So a small country, she says, with a lot of footprints and dinosaur bones, and many of which you can see in Lourinhã, where a lot of scientific research is taking place. They found eggs there. They found all sorts, which they're obviously very excited about. Anyone in the dinosaur business is very excited about that. I used to work at the Natural History Museum. It was my first job, and I realized yesterday how bored I was as a young man working in the natural history. It just became my everyday, and I felt quite ungrateful and bratty about that yesterday, where there I was in this incredible global treasure trove of incredible things, and I actually spent a lot of my time quite bored in that job they're doing, it being in a place that many of these dinosaur fans would have absolutely loved. All right, Matty's here as well now. Why would you want to peak too early ever? It just happens sometimes. It doesn't happen very often, and I'd like to say it's never happened to me before, but it happens from time to time. Oh, okay, a bit of punky action as well from Coach 10. You see, no sooner do you mention music than people want to hear a few tunes and have their memories triggered here. I do remember that. The Alberto y los Trios Paranoias. The Leighton Buzzards seem to be in that same kind of punky, new wavy vibe there, didn't they? I think, if I'm not mistaken. So, Coach, send me the link and I can give it a spin. But we need to work. I mean, that's Spanish rather than Portuguese, isn't it? There, so we do need to work in a Portuguese link. So far on the table, we've got Sir Jorge, who's coming to play in Alcobaça on the 9th of August. We've got the cat. No, what? Sorry, what are they called? Mel, what are the not the Cat Orchestra, the Cat Empire, who are coming to Lisbon in September. And I've got a Girotti Column track to finish with today. I'm sure Andy remembers the Girotti Column. Vinnie Riley is their front man. I'll tell you a little bit about them and their Portuguese connection a little bit later on. But we're talking about dinosaurs. You interrupted me there, Matty. We're talking about dinosaurs. And as well, I have to say, I am a little bit skeptical about the whole, the dinosaur, having been immersed in, I was going to call it dinosaurism, paleontology at the Natural History Museum. It's a very particular narrative, and it went. But I think a lot of early paleontologists made a load of stuff up. That's science is partly making theories up, isn't it? Which then get challenged by other theories. And a lot of those theories, I think, were quite spurious and seemed to be the sort of stuff that got made up at tea breaks and like, or we've got a deadline, we better say that they had multicolored feathers, or and they were this tall and they ate these things. And so much of that, of course, as with so much science, is speculation based on what a bunch of facts, and then a thesis, of course. Good morning, Raquel. Hello, good to see you here. We need to talk, Raquel, don't we? You've just reminded me. Yeah, so dinosaur. I'm not going full on conspiracy theory, as in these are just some carefully laid bones around the world that created a whole distraction. There are some very, very funny and interesting and amusing dinosaur conspiracy theories as well. But like with all things, certain narratives get developed and worked upon. And I was little bit skeptical and cynical about the whole sort of dinosaur thing. And that's not to take anything away from the lovely people like Ines, who are so excited, who get to do what they did as kids, which is be excited about dinosaurs, and then do it as grown-ups. Go, this bunch of people at the cliff tops of Salia. There they were, chucking rocks about, clearing the slab, finding fossils. I really got into it as well. I was finding all these little, seashell sort of fossils as well. It was really exciting. And she started to talk about these footprints. Now that, for scale, I should have put a euro next to it. That is about the size of my foot, a human foot, right? An adult foot. And the theory with this is that this was underwater. It wasn't a cliff. It was part of a water column, and the dinosaurs would have been running about in the water. Not up in the cliffs, because the water went right out. There was another mountain range at Celia before you got to what is the Atlantic Ocean. And in the water, they would have been running about, and they would have made an imprint like this in the ground. And then, with the right conditions, the vegetation fills it up, and it becomes not fossilized, but becomes an archaeological remain for millions of years. And I'm looking at these shapes and I'm thinking, well, yeah, that could have happened. That could have happened. And fair play, it's her idea. It's the scientific theory, and this is what they've sort of gathered upon as a theory of how dinosaur footprints are made and found. And fair enough. But it's like, okay, fair enough. Wasn't blown away by that, but she was saving the best till last, because, oh my goodness, there we are again. Of course, listening to her. And it was great. She was really, really a good, very good teacher. She engaged adults and children alike. And sorry, again, I'm peaking a bit early. Sorry, it's peaking early again twice this morning. Then I filmed a little bit of video of what was, I guess, the climax, the pièce de résistance of the dinosaur footprint. She took us to a particular part of the cliff edge and said, if you look up here, what can you see? And I'll show you now what we could see. This is amazing. There you go. Do you mind? I'm trying to make a video. Look, we're looking up the hill. Now look at the size of these. Look at them apples. Look at that one. Look at the shape of that one. Let's go back a bit. And that does look like a footprint, does it not? Okay. Roll VT again. Look at that shape. Quite amazing. These are deep footprints. How big? Emma in the furrow looked at my video I posted up yesterday with Everybody Walk the Dinosaur music added to it. She said, that's a dragon, that's not a dinosaur. And there you go, looking up the hill. And you can see the impressions, the divots, dinosaur divots, if you like. And the way they're placed, it just looked like that was not a seabed exactly, but like a bog of some sort. And there was a column of water. The dinosaurs ran through that. They weren't T-Rexes, apparently. We didn't have those in this part of the world. We had, I think they were herbivorous dinosaurs, but with big feet, as you can see. They're legging it through the water column, leaving great big divots of that kind, which were well preserved, as obviously to this day, as you can see there. And that's what this picture is. There's Josh. Oh, I can't remember his name, the dog's name, but you can see the little dog. Is it a Pomeranian? The little guy in the oh gosh, what's she called? Can't remember her name. I think it's a little girl. And he popped her into the hole there for scale, and that's how big that dinosaur foot is. And there's Inyesh thinking, "Oh, that's a novel way of measuring dinosaur footprints," and it absolutely was. It was great. Fantastic stuff. So well done. Thank you to all the staff at the Geopark, the volunteers. Thanks to Flynn for organizing that. Really good stuff. Recommend it. And you can just walk up there. You can park up if you want a reference for that. If you're coming to town and you want a reference for that and you want to know where it is, I can send you the location where you can park and walk up to there and you can have a look. There is a bit of a dig in progress, which I don't think they want you to be traipsing all over, but there are, I think if you ask nicely and you're very respectful up there, you can go looking there. Serra de Manche, the other direction. The Alcobaça district has also got a few. This is Caldas de Rainha's territory, this particular dig. And as you cross the line into Alcobaça, there are other digs up at dinosaur footprints up at, they're not digs, they are relics or archaeological sites up there, paleontological sites. Very good. They're all over Portugal, as she said. You know, it's a small country, but we've got loads of footprints and loads of bones and a few eggs and some stuff that gets dinosaur people really excited. So shout out to all the dinosaur fans, which includes it really captures the imagination of kids, doesn't it? I know my eldest really loved it, couldn't get enough of dinosaurs. And at the moment, Leclerc are giving out dinosaur stickers if you like that sort of thing as well. If you've got a kid in your extended family who loves dinosaurs, pop to Leclerc and get him a few dinosaur stickers. Well, says Andy, on that note, see what's up. I've got a Vaminhos as I'm off on an Aveira expat cycle. Jabelas, thank you.